Happy Valentine's Day! Welcome to Danny Haddad's Wisdom Wednesday. Today we're going to study pentatonic skills. I still got the wire ready for you. Wire.
Don't touch.
Okay.
Sorry, breaking it.
Oh,
Jeez, dude.
sorry.
Gracias, Freddy.
You.
All right, no picks. Welcome back to the Wisdom Wednesday with Danny Haddad, coming at you from taking Saturn and bringing you a new Wisdom Wednesday based on pentatonic scales. Last week we talked about some double stops, and I was kind of referencing using them in some scales. It's kind of really one of the best ways to improvise with double stops. And I mentioned the pentatonic scale, and I figured it'd be really nice to brush up on that. So this week we're going to actually kind of go over that scale. The pentatonic scale is really one of the scales that I kind of rely on the most, probably out of any scale that I really use in my playing. I think a lot of guitar players really utilize them. Zach Wild from Ozzy and whatever side projects he does on his own. Really heavy on the pentatonic scales. And I mean, pretty much almost every guitar player that's like, pretty much mainstream is all over them. Really awesome thing. So, and there's a lot of different variations of the scale that you can do, and a lot of different, I guess, steps in the scale that you can use. But just to kind of get into it, like we talked about last week, the scale is real simple. Freddie, fed it. Can you pull in a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Let's get some finger actions. All right. So, when you look at when we talk about some scales, we're going to kind of go with a perspective of kind of like a 1-4, and what I mean by that is like 1 would be like your index finger, 4 would be your pinky. So you get kind of like the 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of aspect. The pentatonic scale, when you're running down the strings, is going to be 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, oops. 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. So once again, it's going to be 1, 4, and then 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, all the way until you get to the last two strings. So 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, until you get to the last two strings, and then 1, 4, 1, 4. So if you do these, this scale kind of sounds like a really cool blues type scale, like. So, I mean, you can hear the kind of blues kind of influence into the scale and whatnot. But, it doesn't sound so interesting. So that's why when I was talking, when you take kind of some of the things that we're learning in these lessons, whether it's the double stops, the hammer-ons, the pull-offs, the string bending, whatever it might be that we're learning, incorporating those lessons into this box or these notes that we're playing right now is going to sound pretty cool and could give you some interesting sounds, make you kind of sound somewhat pro. So once again, if you're playing, when we were talking about double stops, it's like if we're gonna ride along the notes of we could ride like, and it kind of gives you a different feel. It makes you sound a little bit more interesting in your guitar playing. You know, and there's different steps in the scale, so it's just like you have your, once you kick up, so you have your, but then you have your next phase up in the scale, the next step up. Okay, so, you know, if you take those two boxes of notes and you kind of combine them together to kind of run back and forth between each other, you can create some interesting sounds like, and you just kind of pick out some certain notes, you know, just like same thing, holding some notes or bending some notes can really go a long way. So, you know, playing some, you know, faster notes, some slow notes, holding a couple, starting off with a. So there's lots of different combinations. You can also even start adding different notes into the pentatonics to take it away so that it doesn't sound so blues. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, basically you have your, once again, your root notes that were the basic notes from the pentatonic scale. And so once again, this is like an A minor pentatonic. So if you listen to the actual notes, or you play this on top of like any kind of A progression, you know, for instance, Stairway to Heaven, like. Alright. Not so good. So if we go in there and we start adding some of the pentatonic skills that we just learned, you can come up with some. So, but the point is, though, is you can pretty much take that. Now, if you're playing in a different key, just taking that progression and using the A, whatever the pentatonic scale is in that key, it's going to be the same pattern, basically. You're just going to move it up or down the fret. So, up or down the fret, whether, you know, you're playing in a different key, you could take that same pattern. Okay, but if you're playing in a different key and you just want to move that pattern up, you know, like you're in D, doing a D minor. So real simple. Another thing that you can also do that really makes the pentatonic scale real awesome is the fact that you can add a couple more notes to the actual scale, and then all of a sudden it kind of really changes up the actual scale. So what I mean by that is, like, we go like that, but now let's start adding some more notes in. And you get this kind of Arabic, Spanish, kind of immigrant kind of sound.
Yes, immigrant.
You know what I mean?
Play the immigrant song, good one.
So,
immigrant song is
good. And so
good.
you can do different types of things.
The immigrant song, the immigrant.
Shut up. So then you kind of start playing this.
The immigrant song.
What? Fetid?
Yes.
Fetid might be out of a job next week.
I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, Facebook, YouTube. Please join us in next week. Happy Valentine's Day. For Daddy Head Dad.
Valentine's Day, honey bun. To my wife, and my kids.
Special shout out. Thank you. Special shout out to Darian. All the members of Taking Saturn. Have a good night. See you next week. Don't forget to hit the like button.